So the latest episode of Liar Liar has come and gone, and honestly, this episode is, like I said before, a step in the right direction, which honestly surprised me in the very beginning, because at this moment, which really they played while the main theme song was going off, but this guy who has been controlling and been over the little devil and telling her what to do, so then that way she can take care of Shinohara. Yeah, okay, because you failed, you're now my slave. And she's like, I guess I'm your slave. Not. And then Shinohara comes in, and the whole, everything he had said, all he implicated, saying he had illegal abilities, was broadcasted to everyone and put on blast, and then he was taken care of. Now, I will say, it did not show how he was taken care of. It looked like he was over a company of some sort, so I don't know if he's been stepped down from the company. It was way too easy to get rid of this guy. And for someone that I thought would be the final boss, like the last man that Shinohara has to deal with, it's actually surprising that he was dealt with this easily. To the point that I would not surprise me if he shows up later trying to do like a revenge thing and be like, you cost me my job, my position, and I'm gonna take it out on you. It's like I said, especially the fact that he's on the theme song as the big bad, and as the big bad, I would expect a little bit more than being taken down this easily, but we'll see how it goes and we'll see what happens in the future. Now, I'll touch on this because I'm sure if you've already seen the episode, you probably already know there's another event coming down. The whole point of the elimination battle was to figure out who was going to be sent to this big inter-school event. And now with the elimination battle over with, Shinohara, Little Devil, and several others are basically going to be representing the school as they go to this big event. Little Devil, of course, had some issues where she didn't believe people believed in her. She was going to quit and quit the school, quit everything. And thanks to Shinohara, he kind of helped her find her confidence. And thus, he actually made it to where he kind of quit the event, so then that way she would be deemed as the winner of the event, but yet he's still the ace of the school. And thus, even though he quit the event, he doesn't lose any stars here because he didn't lose in a battle. So I guess it was the simplest, easiest way for him to do that. But regardless, he did after the fact get the green star from her, which never really said that she had it, but it was implied that she had it. But he did say for the fact that him making her stay, he did request the green star from her, and he got it. So the only thing is, I wish it showed or talked about like these colored stars that he's getting, what advantage they give him, which I guess maybe they're trying to keep it as a surprise because we will learn more about it maybe in the next event, because we don't really know too much about the purple star he already has. The only real one we know is the red star, but we don't know how the green star, which is supposed to be helpful in perception, is going to actually give him a perception power up, because it's different for everyone. I wish it did state that, so then that way it would make me like, oh man, that's a great power. Oh, I can't wait to see him use it. Now I just got to be like, well, he has it. We'll see how it works. We shall see. Hopefully it does change, and hopefully they do talk about it, probably in the event that's next episode. Now, it goes without saying we had some cute moments in this episode. This moment here where the girls decide to put on swimsuits and get in the bathtub with Shinohara, just one of those things that's, that seems to happen. Yeah. And you thought this part was something. An even lewder moment happened. I can't believe it. They went to a shop and they had to pretend they were couples, and lo and behold, they held hands. Absolutely lewd. I can't believe it. Had to censor it. It's crazy. But yes, we have a trope where holding hands is super lewd and we can't do that type deal. Cute moments that actually elevated kind of the story of these characters, so it was something to laugh at. They spent the rest of the episode talking about the event, which actually makes sense because I'd rather them talk about the event that's about to happen, which may actually be several episodes long. And because it's a whole inter-school event, it's getting the rules down now so you as the viewer can follow along now, so then you can enjoy what happens later in the future episodes. I'm okay with that, because it would be one thing if they showed half the episode them explaining the event, and then the other half of the episode like squishing everything that happens in a few minutes time, which is the way it felt in some of the previous episodes when they spent half the episode talking about Little Devil's game and then the other half was them doing the game, but it seemed like the game itself was sped up because there was so much to fit. It's getting all that out. It's getting out, okay, here are the rules, this is what it covers, these are the positions, here's the abilities of people in the position, which the biggest thing is the commander one there in the middle. Our main character wanted the commander role, but as he's introduced to two new characters, the student council president and his childhood friend that they've grown up together and really nice and close together, but then they now bicker and fight like a married couple. The student council president wants the commander role as well. But our hero wants the commander role because it's a good way to disguise the fact that he's not as good as the game appears to be. He bugged the screen to make it look like he's super awesome, but in actuality, he's not that good. So commander role will help him disguise himself to make it seem like, oh man, I'm really not that good in my movement points, because the commander role actually inhibits movement points. So there was a little bickering there, which honestly, I gotta hand it to the student council president. He's actually pretty smart here. He's basically stating how if Shinohara is as good as he's supposed to be, 7-star with colored star abilities and with movement points and all this stuff stacked up against them, or stacked up with them to help them win, Shinohara should be on the front lines, absolutely nuking and destroying these other schools. He's not wrong. Now, it's all comes down to strategy, because do you want your best player to be the commander to help out the other players, or do you want to kind of use your intelligence to put your best player out on the field to go against other schools? And that's really the fight here. From the student council president's point of view, he's like, you should be on the front lines. But Shinohara's like, yeah, I need not to be on the front lines, because as we know, Shinohara's lying and he's not really the best. So they come to some sort of agreement. The commander role can swap places with someone, so Shinohara's going to be the commander role starting up, and if the student council president doesn't like it the way he's doing things, and if he doesn't defeat other commanders, they'll swap positions. And that's kind of how they dealt with it. And honestly, to wrap things up, the episode ends with a phone call from Sarasa saying how there's now a third girl claiming to be Sarasa, which is who she's pretending to be, because the actual girl that is the granddaughter of the guy that's over everything, that she swapped places with, is on the mainland of Japan. So this third girl is also lying and not Sarasa. So how, of course, is this going to throw a wrench into the plans of everything? Honestly, I at first wasn't going to touch up on this, because I feel like it's going to be a plot device for like next episode or something, that the next arc as we get into the new battle thing that's going to happen. But I mean, it's just the way that it ended. It's like, okay, this is what's going to happen. And I guess I'll touch up on it, saying that this is probably how they're going to introduce another character to the show, whether it's a friend or foe. But I mean, I will say that I'm glad that the show is trying to put a cliffhanger for you to be like, wait, what's going on now? A third girl? So then it's like, well, tune in next week. Overall, I personally believe this episode, like I said, is a step in the right direction. I think they did a good job in introducing the rules now, and how they actually did spend time to talk about every single rule, even more so than I touched up on here. So that way, next week or the next few weeks when this event goes off, we can kind of see how it all, how they delve into it, and all these different schools are doing different things. So the only really thing that would be a problem is they do a lot of skipping of the fights between the schools. Seeing as how it's a game where you have to take territory, and the more territory you have, the more abilities you have, I'm hoping they don't do anything of that nature. But it's a good way for them to introduce other characters. So I'm looking forward to the future episodes. The way I'm going to see the last few episodes were just a road bump in the way that actually this anime is delivered. And this sometimes happens with some anime where some episodes are not as strong as others. Because I've said this before, this anime started out really strong. And then all of a sudden it's like, then it kind of slowed its pace. And now that a new event's coming, I believe it's going to start to pick up and get a lot quicker and be a lot stronger. So I still think it's going to be a good one by the end of the season. So we shall see. Tell me what your guys' thoughts, but definitely make sure you guys like the video and make sure you guys are subscribed, because we'll definitely discuss this anime and several others on the channel. You guys be safe, take care, and Lord willing, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye for now. Make sure to check out the extra content on our Patreon page, and thanks to our current patrons.
This ain't what you want, bitch, I'm a fucking phenomenon.